the same way, I think many people choose to look past the reality of what our country is, the standards that we now stand on. We can't ignore the reality of the history. But in many ways, I think certain people are prosecuted and maybe not recognized for the greatness. You know, I don't have anything negative to say about Sean Combs because my experience was not what the world has seen and how he's been, misrepresented.
You seem like the type, because if you ain't speaking out against it, then you probably for it. And he never was speaking out against it. So he did this whole interview so he could run cover for Diddy. I was thinking about this earlier, but I was thinking about why I get so frustrated with men. So I'm gonna tell you guys real quick. We are going to talk about Usher, talking about Diddy. But before we do that, I want to tell you guys something that I thought about today. And you guys let me know if this makes sense. This is what it feels like to be a man who is unpacking his misogyny and trying to help other men to do the same thing. This is what it feels like. It feels like this is how the men treat me. It feels like I was a criminal because I am maybe not actively misogynistic or overtly misogynistic, but I was, and you know what I mean? Like it's still in me, right? And I've done harmful things in my past to women specifically. Lying, manipulating, cheating. Absolutely. Absolutely. Right. I've done those things, not proud of them, but also not, I'm not ashamed to admit it. I did the things and I don't want to be that person anymore. I want to grow. I want to, I don't want to pass that on to my sons. I don't want to pass that on to other men. I don't want to rationalize it. I don't want to justify it. So I start talking about it like, yo, yeah, man, like we could stop that behavior. We could start to show up. I've done other things. I've done other things with, in relationship with my wife, not not acknowledging her feelings, not meeting her needs, falling short as a husband, as a partner. Definitely. All those things, right? I'm telling men, yo, I'm learning from this. Look, my life is getting better because I'm starting to do better. And I'm trying to share this with y'all in real time. Like, yo, it's kind of lit over here, my nigga. That's really all I'm trying to do to men, right? And I want men to stop the very toxic behaviors that we exhibit, especially online, but privately also, absolutely. But we are like men are like all criminals because we are all guilty, and I'm not projecting, but the vast majority of men are guilty of perpetuating misogyny, right? I'm like, yo, I don't want to do that. I've changed my ways. I've seen the light, whatever. It's kind of like I'm a recovering addict, or like I said in this, well, yeah, I would compare it to being a recovering addict, right? And I'm out here talking to all of these other addicts. And I'm like, yo, I see you're addicted. I see you're addicted to this patriarchy. I see you're addicted to misogyny. You should not want to be, you should get off of that shit. It's making you unhealthy. It's making everything around you unhealthy. All your relationships with your children, with your mother, with your homies, all of it's unhealthy. And the men are like, no, fuck you. I want to do fentanyl. I'm like, but you're gonna die. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's unhealthy, bro. Like, I'm telling you, I did the drug. I OD'd 3 times. I had to be brought back to life. I'm telling you, my life got better after I kicked it, and this is how you can kick it, right? I got some places you can go. Got some literature for you. I got some um have some processes for your brain, whatever the case may be. Men are like, nope, I'm not. I don't give a fuck. No matter what you say, la 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 la. I don't want to fucking hear. Your life could be better. Like, believe me. Look, my life is better. I'm telling you, I can show you how it's better, how I grew, blah 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 blah. How it positively impacted my life. But men will fight you tooth and nail on these things for fear of taking accountability and having to grow. Accountability is not a real thing that exists within manhood. It's not a word that we practice. It's not a concept that we practice. We talk about it a lot, especially as it pertains to women taking accountability. But when it comes to us, we do not take accountability, right? And one of the things I cannot fucking stand, I cannot stand men constantly talking about some when you bring up again, when I'm vulnerable and I'm telling you, hey, this is what I've done, and and it's all out there, and you can judge me accordingly, right? And that's fine. But this is what I've done, this is who I am, and this is what I'm trying to do. They go, oh, you projecting, that's just you. Or I go, yeah, the men that I know or the men that I've seen personally, forget the studies, but just the men that I've seen, they're not that good. Like the men, like the vast majority of the men that I know aren't really good people. They're really not. Like they have times when they're good, you know what I mean? But like I judge people by the worst things that they do, not the best things that they
Good day. Hi, this is Ashtat with Water for Your Mind. With Ashtat, I wanted to start pretty much a big conversation, a large conversation around a very, very important and want to give flowers to and respect to one of the content creators that I have came across in the last, I would say, 7, 8 months, probably more, closer to a year, by the name of the public offender. And I want to first extend a thank you to this man for the quality level of content that he has been putting out over the year, basically just exposing misogyny, and misogyny being a construct, a social construct, a psychological construct, economic construct. I can go down the list. Just working to pretty much bring to light all of the details and components which keeps that social construct alive. And misogyny is within patriarchy, the patriarchal society constructs. And I just want to say how much I appreciate that he brings a level of detail and a level of visual examples to show how the social construct of patriarchy and through the use of misogyny is used to oppress women on all levels of existence. I want to say thank you, and I definitely want to touch base on this video specifically. So Public Offender created a video around the one of the entertainers, Usher. I won't talk too much about Usher because he is a protected name and a protected entertainer. So it's not really so much about Usher, but it's more so bringing to light how the public offender broke down the way that misogyny and the patriarchy supports other men in the crimes or the disassociation that they use when they really see that another man has or male has caused some sort of offense to other females. And instead of taking the accountability to first have the conversation about what happened, second to have the conversation about the what is deemed to be right or wrong or disagreeable or agreeable. He did a fantastic job on the video, breaking the details of that down. Primarily, I want to talk mostly around the fact that the public offender brought up specific details about his own experience with misogyny and how it has destroyed the mindset of men and how they relate not only with the self, but how they relate with other men, which obviously then bleeds into how they relate with their relationships with the women in their lives. And I love that he's just no nonsense about it. He gets right to the point, and he is really offending a lot of men naturally, because that's what happens when the truth is like pretty much, pointed right there back in your face like a mirror. One of the reasons why I chose this one video specifically because of my own personal experience that I have had in the last 3 years dealing with, unfortunately, a male in a relationship which led to an engagement. And I battled with even coming clean about this or speaking about it because it's so personal and so sensitive. Um, so basically, was in a relationship that I met someone where the entire relationship was basically around domestic violence, sex trafficking, black magic. Um, it was every attempt to stop me from being the person that I am. Jealousy was involved, envy was involved. And what made it so sinister after I left that relationship, the abusive relationship on just about every level, what the individual did, simply put, was then incorporated his now wife or relationship that he's in to then partake in the background events, creating a lot of discord and a lot of situations energetically that, though I could not prove through fact, I know for a fact that my life had taken such a negative and downward turn because both him and the mate were working, unfortunately, divination practices in the background. Um, this man had a whole lifestyle that I was completely unaware of. Um, the lifestyle was just so none of my business, not that I even care about it, but it had nothing to do with me. But what it's really about was being an innocent partaker when you meet someone and you believe or you think or you rationalize what you see in front of you. However, that individual has a whole life, a whole bunch of experiences and people that they know, and the way that they can set up even just meeting you. It might not even be from the perspective that you think it is. It could come from the perspective that someone told them to come meet you and create a relationship with you, and like literally like a whole trafficking, gang stalking type of thing. You don't really know if the person is into cults or into groups that you may not even know of, that this individual, you think you're in a relationship with that person. However, the relationship is really a whole systematic setup to do a lot of divination events, totally not even in your peripheral, meaning you would not see it coming. So the second reason why I brought up the topic is because I'm fully aware there was a lot of gossiping about me in the background, a lot of lies, a lot of stories and contexts and situations being twisted. A lot of my personal information was used by family members, sought out through family members to do research on me in the background. I mean, it gets really, really dark really, really quickly as far as all the levels that this individual had taken just to gain a control over me and my life. And what they wanted to do with the information that they knew and had was just simply to have me in a situation where I was just going to be used and siphoned off of, while they go on and have their wife or their girlfriend. I'm supposed to be on the sidelines, just pretty much being used energetically for God knows what. And when I walked away is when I realized that the series of events of my life had taken such a downturn. Now, I wouldn't consider myself like a perfect person, but I live my life pretty much on the up and up. And these are things that, and if you know, you know, that when you go into relationships with people, you have to be extremely careful. It's so much more than just meeting someone and going on a date and then you talk about certain events of your life and what you want to do together. You have no clue, no idea that you could be connecting with someone that was sent to you by groups who spy and watch. I mean, literally like on some CIA, FBI, all that kind of stuff. And you have no clue. So I wanted to touch base on this video with the public offender because I truly know that when these events are happening, when you have domestic violence or some sort of abuse from a man to a woman, just be prepared that your reputation will be damaged. They communicate with one another. They go to family members, and then your reputation is even damaged in that capacity of people you don't even know. Friends, family, circles, groups, work, employment, all of that stuff. You have absolutely no clue that this person was sent to you to literally destroy you. And I hate to use the word destroy because destroy sounds like some, X-Men type of construct. But no, I'm saying literally, if they could have you dead, they work every way possible to ensure that your quality of life is so poor and so detrimental. It is no different than you literally wanting to commit suicide and jump off a bridge or become homeless and just be destitute. I mean, even to the point of isolation, even to the point where you see nothing around you is working. Friends and family turn against you. Jobs that were opportunities go away. Your money gets funny. I mean, all the things that come when you know someone is doing divination on you. This was done to me. And I will say that I battled with it for a little bit in my mind, whether or not to even speak about it. However, it was led on my mind, and through a course of events, synchronicities, people that I knew, everything was telling me, say something, open your mouth and say something. And I'm slowly beginning to come out of that unfortunate events, vibrational wise. But I want to touch base on mostly giving a public offender a absolute thumbs up to let him know that what he's doing is great work. It's great work, and it's something that I foreseen many, many years ago, because I do the work internally, I do the work mentally, and I knew that when it came to the oppression that women were under, I knew that the door had to be broken and shut down from a man, because the power construct of patriarchy was taken from women so many thousands of years ago, that in order for us as feminine to reestablish our position, not only just physically, spiritually, economically, that door is just sort of a gatekeeping that was placed upon us in a lot of ways. And so that door would have needed to be opened by a man that will first knock it down and at least bring out to the open, hey, what we're doing is not in order. What we're not doing is law. What we're doing is based off a social construct that we were taught, that was taught before us, and so forth and so on. And it's so deep and it's so thick, just like white supremacy and racism, that you don't even know you're acting it out, because it's embedded in just about everything of your existence, that it takes work to recognize, or some deep level of pain or something to snap a person out of it, or just a desire. So thank you, public offender, for just doing the work. Thank you for freeing a lot of women in their minds and helping to bring things back into law and order. Much, much, much respect and peace unto you.
This is Matriarch Endeavor's YouTube channel. We welcome you. Thank you for watching.